Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is Friday the 20th of October, and just a little recap from yesterday on Tesla that opened significantly lower and almost during the entire session was sold off, and also in the aftermarket, by the way. So it's very close to test the 214 support level here, where we also have the 200 daily moving average coming up. On the weekly we can see how important this level is, close below, which I believe we will see fairly shortly, possibly next week. Then we are also in a confirmed downtrend on the weekly and by the medium-term time frame. So quite heavy on Tesla there, and that of course also weighed quite a bit on the main indices here. S&P 500 next support around 41.95. There will be a little bit of support coming up here from the 200 moving average, but I think we will see a test of these levels here next week, possibly even lower to reverse this, which I don't think we'll see, but still has to be noted. We need to get back above 4,400 for reversal of this downtrend here. Nasdaq below this gap area here. I think we are on our way to looking at the 14,250 level, possibly lower. 14,000 is not unlikely going into next week. It seems quite heavy at the moment. RSI is still in the negative sentiment, no divergence, and it's broken below its little rising trend line here. If it moves back below 40, well, then there is more trouble ahead for Nasdaq. On the European markets, we have the EuroStoxx index that looks quite heavy also this morning, testing its support at 4,035. And clear downtrend here, as you can see. There's still more room, and I think we will see a move below 4,000 here, maybe today, but at least going into next week. It looks quite heavy at the moment. DAX also below 14,933 support. Next one will be in this area. If you look at the weekly, it's easier to see that around 14,500 there are two support lines here that should be observed. We also have the 100 moving average, but it's declining at the moment. So the DAX index also quite heavy at the moment, and that's actually the same picture across the board. If we just quickly look at the GR40 CFD here, 14,765. There's some support on that one, but it is looking quite heavy. The AEX back below 730. It actually did happen yesterday, and there is further downside potential. 715, there's minor support there, but then we are looking at 700, 710. There's some support if we look back a little bit in the history books here. There will be a little bit of support down from this correction area down over here, but I don't think it is that strong, and dip down to 700 should be expected. It's not a given, but it should be expected. 3,300 seems Belgian market to be on its way to possibly even lower. If we're looking at the weekly, well, then it's down here around the 3250 level, that there could be some buyers coming into the market. CAC 40 also quite heavy. It's trading back to the levels we saw here in May, April. 6,800 is there's some support here, and I think we maybe could see a little bit of bounce buyers coming in around here, but we are in a downtrend on daily and weekly, thereby on the medium term. Finally, on SMI 20, the Swiss market looks quite heavy to say the least, and there is a potential down to 10,000 level, which is also the from low levels here from last year. They're already taking out the spring troughs here, and looks quite heavy at the moment. Moving on to the FX market, as usual, we have euro dollar here. Seems like it's trading more or less sideways out of this falling channel. Could we have a retest of the strong resistance here at 106.35? That could be interesting here the next couple of days. It doesn't seem promising, but I think we will see a move to at least test it. If it breaks above, well, then there could be a surprise move up to around 107, 107.60, but then there will be some heavy resistance around that level where we have all the moving averages coming down. We have the 100 here, we have the 200 decline. 100 is likely to break below the 200 there, and 55 is also already broken below that and pointing lower. So it looks fairly heavy. So I think it will just be a short relief. Euro sterling. Testing the 87.35 resistance. It's not the strongest one. I think we will move higher towards the 88.20 where there's some strong resistance. So nice move in euro sterling at the moment. And let's have a look at euro Swiss. The Swiss franc is really being strengthened lately, and we are almost back to levels not seen since Q4 last year, Q4 last year, around 94. And I believe we will revisit that area we are very close to, possibly dipping below. A very strong move in euro Swiss. Cable. Looks quite weak down there to the weaker side, and I think we could see a retest of the previous troughs down here around 120.35 is level, and possibly also a new low below 120. I think we will see a test of 120. To reverse this, we need a break above 123.25, and it doesn't look like that's where we're moving at the moment. Dollar yen. Slowly ticking higher, but not really convincing. Let's see if we can get about that 150.16 level. There's still room medium term up to 152, as we've been talking about for quite some time. Euro yen still in this range, but I'm slowly taking higher here. If we can get the RSI back above the 60, we will see a retest of 159.75 resistance. Can it break above? That's the big question. That is a little bit uncertain at the moment. Aussie yen still range bound, 95.85. Can't really break that with a convincing move. Sterling yen. More or less the same. It's like almost flatlining, so not much to talk about. But look out for these levels here: 184.40 and 180 on the downside. Finally, on Aussie dollar, still keeping up around the 63, but there's room down to 61.85. Dollar index. And I know there's a lot of my charts at the moment. It is still 105.34. That is the key support here. If it can break above this little peak here from last week, 106.57, well, then I think we will see a move up to 107.90. Otherwise, we will see a correction down to 104.30s level. Gold. Very strong move in gold past week or so. Well, it's actually testing the 1985 resistance at the moment. I believe we should see a correction from here. It is totally detached from the other metals, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But this is a very strong move. It seems like a panic move, really. We are back in uptrend, but as we can also see here on the weekly, broken this falling trend line, and there is a potential move higher in coming weeks. But we are in for a correction. We should see a correction of gold short term, possibly down to around 1950, 1940 level, just around these levels here. Possibly a little spike above 1985, but there is some strong resistance here at the moment. This is also around the 61.8 retracement, and we are a little bit past that on the downtrend here, but I think we will move higher in coming weeks. What is interesting also, the weekly RSI just below 60. So I think we will see a correction in gold. Finally, when we are talking precious metals, the silver is moving a little bit higher above the 786 retracement, has a bit of resistance around the 100 and 200 moving average. very close to confirming our uptrend, but I wouldn't call it an uptrend until we actually get a break above the cloud area here, that shaded area, and 123.78 level. Then we are back in business for silver also. And if it closes above 60, that's what you should keep an eye on. Copper, once again, it seems like it's testing the 354.50 support. Very key support. Was tested last week here, and now again. Will it break below, or will it also bounce higher? It does seem a little bit heavy, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see a nice bounce higher again. On the energy front, we have the let's remove some of these, because now they're getting a little bit of a noise on the chart. Trading around the 61.8 retracement after closing above yesterday. The key resistance at 88.20 on WTI, likely to test the previous peak, and I think we will see higher levels on crude oil in general here in the coming weeks. Also the same here on Brent, already above the 61.8 retracement, above its resistance, and moving towards 95. And I think we'll see it tested these, well, very close to 100 in coming days. Finally, on the US 10-year, very close to the 5%, just spot 0.1% pointed from. I think we'll see a correction here in the coming days, but the uptrend is fairly strong. And I think we could see higher yields in coming weeks, but a little bit of a correction. It seems a little bit stretched. You can also see that the RSI is showing some divergence. This peak down here is not really corresponding with the peak up here. So a little bit of correction we should see, so stretch on the short term. All right, that's all for today. Another long one, sorry about that, but a lot of stuff to talk about. Have a nice weekend, and see you again Monday.